guess I need some time to feel free and enjoy.
Yo, what up guys, what's up and welcome back to the main channel. It was good, I hope everyone's well. Welcome back to a very, I guess, newly branded and more professional looking channel. We're here for the 6 things we learned from Liverpool vs Arsenal. Obviously what a absolute dire performance it was from the boys yesterday. Can't scoot around the facts, it just absolutely wasn't good enough. I've got my phone to bring up the stats and whatnot, and obviously as we go through the 6 points that I guess not so much that we learned, but obviously that were just more apparent as the games go on. The lack of creativity in the midfield, the lack of leadership, perhaps the lack of accountability. Within the senior statesman of the side, you'd expect sort of a certain certain type of performance, and obviously a certain type of performance from certain type of caliber of player. Obviously not naming names because when they lose as a team, and obviously when we lose as a team. It's just how it is. Without further ado, obviously let's hit the first point. First point being, well, I already mentioned it, the lack of accountability. Within that side yesterday, I thought personally, and obviously as my dad as well, we both thought that it was a very brave lineup in terms of putting the likes of Maitland-Niles in there, and whatnot, and not going with sort of tried and trusted players that have been playing a lot more, and I think that didn't really radiate the most confidence per se. It didn't really gauge it didn't gauge the confidence. It didn't sort of, I don't think anyone really went into yesterday, even though if you checked out my match preview, obviously you would have seen I predicted 2-1. Obviously, how wrong was I? Hindsight and all that. Football is an ever-changing thing, and obviously, Arteta went with the lineup yesterday that he thought were capable of getting the job done. And to be quite honest, I thought we played well up until a point. Obviously, going 1-0 up was a huge dub. You just hoped that they would be able to kick on. From that point onwards, and obviously, same old Arsenal, kind of, in many aspects, just weren't able to do so. They just weren't able to do so, and obviously, that kind of it can't keep happening. Obviously, certain games, I'm not going to say it's all right, but against teams like Liverpool, you're not going to see much of the ball, and obviously, as mentioned in the preview, I expected it to be sort of 90% Liverpool, and maybe 10% Arsenal as such. Not necessarily, obviously, to that exact number, but going by the stats, I mean, that's I guess this can be like a different sort of a segue as such. 66% possession for Liverpool to 34 for Arsenal. That says it all. It was a game of not necessarily two halves. It wasn't even, obviously it was a game of two halves, but it wasn't the pattern of the game. We went ahead against the run of play. No one can tell me different. We went ahead against the run of play. We weren't really, looking like scoring, and it come from a defensive error. Obviously, Andy Robertson, I think it was that presented the opportunity. Moving down the stats, I mean, they just battered us in all aspects. To be quite honest, it didn't. I'm not going to continue reading the stats because obviously, I know stats are important, but they're just as not important in the same sentence, in the same aspect. I think obviously the first point, as mentioned, accountability. I think from a senior kind of, I guess, just the senior players in the team that didn't really stand up and be counted yesterday. I think that was quite apparent. Again, I'm not naming names, but moving on to number 2. Obviously swiftly moving on. I don't want to keep you as longer than I have to. Number 2 was just, I think, the lack of leadership. Again, lack of leadership, but also in terms of the lack of creativity. I don't think there was a particular player in that side yesterday that I thought was a game, was a match winner, was a game winner as such, or match winner, however you call it, everyone says it sort of a bit different, but me personally, I looked at it and thought, I'm not saying it lacked Ozil. I'm not saying it lacked a particular player that we perhaps or have or haven't got. It was just one of those where you were found wanting because you didn't have the right caliber of player in that side. I personally I sort of constructively criticise Arteta in many aspects because he should have gone with tried and trusted players that have been playing before. Players that have played together for a long while now. Sort of, the likes of Dani Ceballos and Granit Xhaka, they've got the chemistry in that midfield. But going with Elneny, I'm not saying I'm not a hater as such. I'm not, I say as such, I'm not a hater at all. I think he's come back and he's looked absolutely really, really good. I'm not going to say he deserves to stay. I'm not going to say he deserves to go. I'm sort of on the fence, in that aspect. But when you kind of look at the long and short of it, he should have stuck with tried and trusted. Should have gone with the players that really just, I'm not going to say know how to play football, but the players that have been playing together for a long period, and obviously being in the time, and obviously the situation that we are, I think that was obviously, it was a very, very brave call. So I guess point number 2 is lack of creativity, but also a sort of, I guess, a little bit of a mishap and perhaps a mistake in match lineup. So, I guess those two kind of link together per se. I think that's, it's safe to say, and obviously, be sure to leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments because, to be quite honest, I really enjoy sort of reading the comments and obviously, really enjoy hearing your thoughts as well because let's be honest, we're all Arsenal fans. Majority, I would hope, and if I do reach other fans, then obviously leave your thoughts of your team down in the comments as well, because obviously, we are a football fan channel, albeit very, very small, but we're trying to sort of grow it. I hope you guys can come and be a part of it. But yeah, I don't know. I think it might have just been because he's new to management, and sort of, and obviously it's everything's a learning curve. When you're sort of, obviously when you're new to something, it's you're consistently learning. Everyone learns something new every day. So it's not a case of being like, oh, he didn't do this because this happened, or he didn't do that and that happened, or whatever. It's just not that. Football isn't as black and white. Some may say otherwise, but yes, football is not just it's not as black and white. And no, before obviously other questions arise, don't even go there. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, personally, swiftly moving to sort of, I guess, number 3. Because we can, we've all fallen in one shape or another, or one time or another, to perhaps the lack of knowledge. And I'm not saying he can't learn from it, but that point number 3 was very, very much valid because I think it is a learning curve, and obviously he's learning the type of manager that he wants to be, and obviously he's learning more and more about the players that he has at his disposal, whether they're good enough, whether they're not. Leave your thoughts and comments down in the comments because it's just how it is. But yeah, I think kind of moving forward, I want to try and put a couple of maybe 2 bad, 2 good, and then maybe 2 to sort of look to the future. I think that that might be a better aspect of the video. So yeah, we're going to obviously we've had 2 bad. So look at obviously now 2 good, and then we'll look at the ones towards the future. The first good point I thought yesterday was that of, well, I mean, I know, like as mentioned, sort of going 1-0 up was a dub, but you need to be able to kick on. And I think the fact that obviously, like I said, got the goal, I think it's obviously he's carrying on his form, and I think obviously deserves huge credit. He's getting a hell of a lot of hate recently because I say recently, sort of after the game, because he missed that chance that perhaps he should have scored, but he didn't. Football, as I say, it's not they're not robots. They're just really, really gifted, really, really gifted people that are able to kick ball for a living. It's, all right, fair enough, some might be overpaid, some might be perhaps underpaid. I don't know in terms of, that aspect, but number 4 has got to be, like I said, I think, I guess the return to form has shown, he's reminded us just the player that he can be, and I think that's obviously very, very important, for the long haul of the season. The long and short of it is that it's a long season, and we need all of our players fit and firing, and hopefully, touch wood, that he can continue his form and obviously, continue to, I guess, impress, because as I say, we need all of our players fit and firing and scoring goals, because they've got to take the burden off of Aubameyang. I know he's going to, and we all know he's going to come in and do a madness all the time, because that's just what he is. I say that's what he is, that's what he does. That's what I meant to say. But yeah, I think that's obviously the first good point. I don't like to say it's just like kind of an individual good point. I'd like to think it's an individual good point, all around, all around the, within the team, because everyone obviously knows the type of player he is, and those things he's capable of. We all do. We know as fans that just how good he is. But yeah, that's point number 4. I guess first good point. The second has to be, I think personally, without making it another individual, sort of point as such, just for one player. I would like to say that for parts of the game yesterday, we did, although we were dominated, I'm going to make it look just like I guess I don't know, like just a bigger picture, looking sort of at every player that was selected yesterday. That I think the players that came off the bench showed just what they're able to do, obviously what they're capable of, and I think that's obviously standing us in good stead. Looking to the future, I guess, and hopefully that will, I guess, shape the way we kind of, I guess, desire to play, as we sort of go forward. And yeah, I think all things are looking good. I really don't, and can't stress that enough. All things are looking good. Yeah, you might pick up a few bumps along the road. That's just normal in football. You're not going to win every game of the season. That's just, it just doesn't happen. And all things being well, we will bounce back. We're going to bounce back, no doubt. I think that, and I think leading on to the next point, looking towards the future, this group of players, yes, some are not good enough, but some of the players that we have there are actually really, really good players. And obviously, I think the belief in the squad, that's point number 5. The belief in the squad is key to going forward, and obviously maintaining that form and taking it into all the different cup competitions, and obviously moving forward in terms of as a unit, becoming, getting that winning feeling and getting used to it, thinking, right, this is what we want. We want this every weekend or every game we play. We want to feel this winning feeling. It's not about sort of, you might, because as mentioned, you're not going to win every game, but it's just how you bounce back. And I think no matter how many times you get knocked down, you've got to bounce back, and you've got to bounce back as a team. You've got to bounce back as a unit. And I think that's obviously what they will do. I think, they're more than capable of doing it. And who knows, we might even go on and beat Liverpool in the Cup. They're probably not going to really go for it all that much. And maybe we won't. Who knows? Obviously, you'll have to wait and see my match preview. That will be out, what day are we on today? So it'll be out tomorrow. So it's Tuesday, just coming up to 4 o'clock. But yeah. And yeah, I guess, number 5 had to be belief, the team belief, looking towards the future, because obviously now we're reformatting these type of videos. And number 6, I think the key, obviously, I'm not going to class it as a point as such, but it did it did, without a shadow of a doubt, highlight just how much we need Partey and Our 100%. I wouldn't take anyone else. I wouldn't take anything less, because let's be honest, they're the only two that we've really been after all transfer window, and they're probably, they won't come in until the final day of the transfer window, I don't believe. There were little rumours here and there that he might be he might be announced before the Liverpool game of the Cup. So, obviously we wait and see to that aspect, and hopefully that is true. And obviously, it has gone a bit quiet, so, it's a little bit sort of could be hit and miss. But yeah, it is. It is what it is. It's just that's just it down to a T. The long and short of it, we're still waiting, and obviously, hopefully, we bounce back into the cup, and obviously, who knows? We could go on a bit of a cup run. We could end up winning the cup. I know there's a hell of a lot of teams still left in it, but point number 6, that is, the point number 6 and the final point of the video is just bouncing back. Having that team spirit and kind of, making sure everyone knows that, basically just winning as a team, losing as a team, winning, and building that good vibes, building the momentum, and going forward, and really kind of, I guess, hammering home the fact that we could really actually do something special this year. Contrary to what other people might think, but yeah, it is what it is, and that is going to be it for the video. I'm thinking of turning these into podcasts where you obviously just hear, like, doing audio only and also visuals and audio as well. So obviously, let me know if that is something that you would be into. Let me know if podcasts are something that you would like to see from myself and obviously others. And yeah, we could, hopefully we could jump on that. Who knows? I'm going to go. I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Deuces. Peace.